Plymouth, Massachusetts. Let's go!
Red hot American night. Shake your body dry on the coastline. Red hot American night. We snuck our forks to the shore and drank a bottom bone dry. We snuck our forks to the shore and drank a bottom bone.
Plymouth, Massachusetts. Let's go!
Red hot American night. Shake your body dry on the coastline. Red hot American night. We snuck our forks to the shore and drank a bottom bone dry. We snuck our forks to the shore and drank a bottom bone.
Let's go! Plymouth, Massachusetts. Let's go!
Red hot American night. Shake your body dry on the coastline. Red hot American night. We snuck our forks to the shore and drank a bottom bone dry. We snuck our forks to the shore and drank a bottom bone dry. Red hot American night. Red hot American night. Red hot American night. Drank a bottom bone dry.
Let's go!
Let's go. They can hear us.
They
Now
can?
they can see us.
All right, now they can see. We can be heard. We can be seen.
Yes.
And man, that is a jam and a half of a video, if I don't
I don't
say
know who
so
sings that.
myself. I don't know either, but that's a
Definitely feeling it.
great tune. I'm jamming out after a couple of plays of that promo. You don't want your old poster on display right there?
Actually,
I don't know where
It is
that
funny.
came from. I saw it when I walked in.
I
here.
actually brought this. I did an interview with Chris DiCarlo from Caged In, and we were talking about fights, back in the day, and kind of how I got started. And to bore you who heard this story a million times, back when I fought, you didn't get posters, you didn't get anything, and I took the poster that they had for the show, and I made my own, added myself, added like sponsor logos and stuff, and it was promotions back then were here's tickets, go whore yourself out and sell tickets, but they would give you nothing to sell the tickets. Like they would give you no promotion. It was just, there you go, sell tickets and make us money. And like one of my first fights, I just went ahead and did my own poster. So I brought this out and I was showing it to him. So that's why it was
Little
on the
blast from the past.
table. A blast from the
Vintage.
table. Coop's Doorman.
Yep. Pre-cage Titans.
But
It's like-
I was trying to tell him what, I think that's actually what we're talking about. What makes us a little different. It was like, we give you tools to sell yourself, sell the fact that you're fighting, and go out and, not just be like, hey, I'm fighting, buy tickets. But like, when we do open workouts or media days or just creating posters with your picture on it, with your opponent, like, there's so many easy things that is second nature to us that like people just don't do. It's like photos of the weigh-ins, photos of the fights, videos of the fights, videos of the weigh-ins. It's like,
what we
how the
always
hell do you
say.
guys not do that stuff?
We're not really a fight company. We're a
I
marketing
actually meant,
company.
that's what I
It's like
mentioned in the video. I said, we joke around internally. We're a marketing company first that happens to market fighters, and we do our passion, which is fighting. But
the background comes from marketing, and that's where,
and that was it.
Well,
Marketing
trickle
and
in.
sales. When I was fighting, I was at just coming off for a job as a regional sales manager and director of marketing. I was working for a venue, and I was doing all their marketing and operation stuff. And fucking 15, 16 years ago, here we are. So we definitely on time, Rob Pico. We are back to Monday night. We did a bunch of Tuesday nights for a while. But
a lot of audibles this time out. And I was almost gearing up for another Tuesday week, but all right, we're back to the normal groove.
Yeah. Back to Monday. Next week we'll be back to Monday.
Next week's fight week.
Next week's fight week, man. We're less than
Just
2
like-
weeks away.
I can't
Bam,
get
there it
over
is.
that. Big Mikey coming down for the hot wing,
Hopefully
hot take.
Big Mikey, but Hot Wing. Actually, you know what?
Cribbage fighting.
If Cage Titans cribbage fighting, it doesn't sound right.
I'm in
Did
though.
I say cribbage fighting?
What happened to cribbage?
But
We
either way,
mentioned cribbage. I'll play anyone in cribbage.
Jack and Miguel messaged me. So Miguel, if you're watching, or Jack, or somebody that knows Miguel and Jack, I did see you message Miguel that they wanted to partake in the Hot Wing Hot challenge, Hot Wing Hot Take. So they said they wanted to partake. I saw the message and I forgot to reply back. So consider this my reply back. You're in if you want to come next week.
Now, sold.
Yeah, we're in for the Hot Wing Hot Take next week with you guys. So that'd be fun. But we're less than 2 weeks away. Back to Monday night. Man, this fight card. If you're not excited already, I was doing that interview I was telling you about with Caged In, and it's like, what do you think about this fight card? And it's like, you start rattling off the fights and you're like, oh shit, this fight's on this card. Oh wait, that fight's on this card. Oh wait, this too. When we getting people in here, I don't know what you're talking about. Whenever you want to call in, man. New England MMA News, you want to call in? I did throw I'll throw it in again. If anybody wants to just copy and paste this, throw it in their link. Just copy it out, put it in your browser, or whatever, on your phone or your computer. It'll bring you right in. I'll see you guys down here in the studio, and we'll work you into the show, and we'll just have you talk about the fights, either your fight if you're one of the fighters, or just if you're a fan or New England MMA News, you want to talk about some fights that you're excited about. We'll love to give you some screen time and get you on here. So once again, it's right there. But yeah, so I start rattling down the amateur card for him as we're talking about it. It's like, oh, you got undefeated, Sandy Muniz and Jake Callender, and you got, the title fight. And then you got Ruben Batar and Eder Gomes and all these fights you start talking about on the amateur card. Then you hop over to the pro card and, you talk about Christina Caciquez' return and Jacobo Pito. And then it's like, oh, Marty Navis and Aaron Tercel. And it's like, wait a minute, I could be content with just that card. And it's like, no, wait, we got 4 more bangers of pros.
Billy Mays coming through.
Like,
it's just, but wait, there's more.
It's like, oh, wait a minute. We got Sheamus and Tom Santos. We got T-Sab and Pena. We got Motino and Cupcakes. And then, of course, the heavyweight title fight. So it's just like this is that fight card. We've been talking about it for a while now. We keep looking at this poster. It's right in front of us. And every week we're on. It's like, how do you top that poster? Giannetti and Barrett. The biggest fight in Cage Titans. How do you top it?
With one that's literally top heavy like that, with the heavyweight championship fight at the end of the realm. And it's something that has been claimed for about a year and a half now. One of the newest, what do you call it, accomplishments, if you will, of Cage Titans, appointing a heavyweight champion, Ross Hilton being the first one, obviously, Joshua Marsh now being the second heavyweight champion, Yorgan DeCastro making the claim to become the third Cage Titans heavyweight champion. So it's been explosive from the start. The pinnacle of the heavyweight division in the Northeast at Cage Titans. And
it's a great way to end
you never want to miss it. It's been banger after banger at the heavyweight title fight, and it's going to be no different when Marsh and DeCastro meet. So,
quickly, a question that, Chris DiCarlo asked me was like, how does 2024 stack up in years? And I told him every year is great. Every year is it's like your kids, what's your favorite kid? It's like, but I will say that this could be one of those monumental years that we look back and it's just like, wow, that's kind of like a separator. And that's kind of what I'll ask you the same question after I kind of actually, you know what, give me your answer, but you're eating now. So you think he knows we go live at 8 and he would order his food, eat before we go on air, but every week he orders and eats. But he's worse than me at times. You think I'm the bad one. But, we were kind of talking about it. It's like, what do you look back at 2024? And it's like, this could be one of those separator years. Like, I think we've kind of established ourselves. Like I was saying on his podcast, and go watch it, Chris DiCarlo, Caged In. But I was kind of just saying that we were kind of a little engine that could. Like we knew what we did, and we just kind of were like quietly doing our own thing over there here in Plymouth. And I think this year for 2024 is like we've other promotions outside the region and have kind of started taking notice. And, we're one of the promotions that people are like, hey, I want to fight for those guys. And, you're seeing that this year. And I think that's what kind of happened this year is like, we kind of separated a little bit from that. Like we were quietly just doing our own thing down here. And we all knew if you were part of Cage Titans, you kind of knew what we were doing as special. But I think 2024 was like a year where it was like, we got some like more, wider reach recognition where it was like, okay, these guys are, you have fights where you're putting on non-local fighters against each other. And it's like, that's something only LFA as a regional, and they're not really a regional anymore. Like they're the only other promotion that really puts non-local fighters on. And, we're starting to kind of get ourselves to that level.
And I really think that, it's undeniable that 2024 is truly it's that pinnacle year, that apex year that we've had, especially with the main events that we've had. And year over year, it's always kind of felt like that. Mm-hmm. And it's tough to really pinpoint what other year could kind of top it. And I think a lot of that is in part because no matter what year we're in, we're present. It's always whatever fight card we're dealing with, we promote it with the same magnitude as if it is Giannetti or Barrett. And that has kind of slowly but surely elevated and pieced all things together with everybody that's on board, from the crew to the fighters that are fighting for us pretty consistently, to all the regional people that always make it a point to at least fight for us a couple times a year. Yeah. It's tough to really pinpoint any other year, but I'll pinpoint a moment that I know really, and I can't even think of the gentleman's name, but he fought all over the place. He was scheduled to fight Manny, and there was an injury or whatnot that Seth Basler ended up fighting, taking the place. And I'm blanking on this gentleman's name, but I remember he'd fought in Japan. He had something like 40 pro fights, and he didn't even fight for us.
His CAT scan came back.
CAT scan came back. But him talking about his experience, even having not fought, I've been all over the place, 40 professional fights, and this is by far the best experience I've had in a fight camp, even though I didn't even fight. It's just, that is kind of, and that's 8 years ago in the blink of an eye. And it's
I'm actually looking at another poster to think of a defining moment. We got Barrett and Giannetti over here, but here's another one, Giannetti and Dufort. Mm-hmm. That was another one that was like, Canada invasion. He came out. That was last year, but still, it's just kind of like, those are kind of some jumping off points that we've had in these past few years. It's like, Johnny, I see Johnny Cupcakes watching. It's like, man, Johnny Cupcakes literally fighting at Cage Titans won, and I'm sure he sees it. And I'd love to maybe one day have him on the show and pick his brain like he's done in the past. Like, he's seen us from Cage Titans 1 all the way to now. And, he was on that card all the way to now co-headlining this one. But, 2024 has been a pretty amazing year for sure. And I think that it will go down in Cage Titans history as a huge year because we finally got that Barrett Giannetti fight. And then we kind of segued that to when we were just talking about this card that we have here, when we talked about that amateur card, and then we got up to the, KK, Dan Shapiro, and then Trissell versus Marty Davis. In years past, that would be our fight card. That would be our headliner. And now it's like, those are the second pro fights on the card that would have headlined a card 2 years ago. We've had cards in the years past where we had amateurs co-headline, which were big amateur fights, but still, like, I just think that, this year is kind of one of those separators that, like, more and more people are taking notice. We're putting on bigger fights, bigger stakes. And then the other part of that is that people come accustomed to seeing amazing fights within Plymouth Memorial Hall at Cage Titans that, like, we were so reliant on some of the stars that we had to have selling tickets. Now people are just like, all right, Cage Titans is coming up November 9th. I'm in. We don't even announce a fight card and people are buying tickets. So I think that's also, I've seen that happen a lot this year.
Yeah. It's been a fun ride and ain't slowing down.
All right. Well, we actually have New England MMA news. He's calling in, so I'd love to pick his brain a little bit. He's a little newer to the scene. He's been, blowing up, doing a ton of interviews. I appreciate the hustle and the grind. So let's I don't even know his first name. So let's bring him on in. What's up, my man?
What's up, dude? How you doing?
I'm doing great. I got to say, did you try to pull the Michael Palve haircut? Because you used to have hair, and this week I saw you shave the head.
So I made an agreement with my buddy. I was like, because he had longer hair, I'm like, if you cut your hair, I'll shave it all off. And he cut his hair, so I shaved it all off. So this is how I'm gonna look for a little bit, but it's all right.
He owns up to his bets. I like it.
And man, I know it's a Maddox, man. Now there we go, Maddox. Bald is beautiful. Don't forget that, my man. So you've been doing a great job covering this fight card, and you've been around a little bit. First off, tell us what you do over there at New England MMA News, and just for my own personal interest, kind of what got you into covering MMA.
So I originally started. I did fight announcements. So I just put two pictures together, and I'd tag the like Cage Titans and stuff, and then they collaborated, and then actually Combat FC, they invited me to do a virtual press conference, and I didn't have anything. So I went in there and I just did it, and I liked it. So I just started doing fighter interviews. And then the reason that I was like inspired to do this, my brother, him, David Burke, he fights. And so I don't know, he's the reason I started watching MMA for the most part. So
there you go. Former Cage Titans amateur champ, David Burke, big man up there. So, as you're looking forward to Cage Titans 68, again, we're opening the lines, letting people call in. You've had a chance to interview some fighters. What are some of the fights that you kind of got circled on your fight card that you're like, all right, I'm definitely looking forward to this one?
So, first fight for sure, the amateur featherweight title, Fred Allen Safir versus Jake Kasky. That's going to be a banger. Jake Kasky always brings it, and Fred Allen Safir, he's a champion for a different promotion. I'm pretty sure that's going to be a banger fight. So Jake Kasky has bombs in his hands, and we'll see what happens.
Nice. What else you got? Give me a pro fight you're looking forward to.
I don't want to go for the main event because that's obvious, but I'll go Pena and Di Sabatino. I think that's going to be a banger. Pena, UFC veteran. Di Sabatino's fought every fight here in Cage Titans, I'm pretty sure. So that's going to be a banger.
Nice. I like it. So, you obviously you've had your share of interviews with fighters. Obviously if anybody's watching, they want to get some of your content, make sure they go follow you. But give me a piece of content that came out of your interviews that was like one of your most interesting pieces of content that you've got from interviewing the fighters leading into Cage Titans 68. And then maybe tell us where we can find the full interview.
So I'll give you a funny one. This card, I haven't been able to find a lot of people to interview, but Cupcakes, just him talking about how he's just going to smash this dude and saying he's going to knock his head off was a really funny thing. That's on my YouTube. It's my handle up here. It was just a fun interview with Cupcakes. It's probably like 20 minutes long. It's just him talking about how he's going to smash this guy. And I think it's cool to have someone with that type of confidence come into a fight.
Listen, Johnny Cupcakes is definitely not somebody that's ever shy of confidence.
When's the Do you train at all, or do you just are a fan through your brother?
I've trained a bit at Nostos, but it's like 45, 50 minutes away from me, so I can't really get up there that much. But you know, when I can train with my brother, I do go up there.
Is he a older brother, I'm assuming?
Yeah,
How old are you?
he's 15.
Oh, look at that. Nice, man. Listen, I got to give you some credit, man, for being 15 years old. I knew you were young, but I didn't know you were that young. You got a good composure about you doing these interviews. You're doing a great job.
In between homework too, it's real impressive.
So,
But
listen,
yeah, thank you.
not to put you on the spot because I know you're up north, but I'm assuming you're going to be making the rounds probably to one of the northern promotions for November 9th. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Nice. Well, which one did you choose?
I'm gonna go to NEF just because the Nostos boys are fighting up there. So I wanted to come to this. I would come to both. If I could be in two different places, but
We can't split you up. But hey, listen, man, we'll get you hooked up for January 25th.
Got to support the team. So.
You know, we got Cage Titan 69 on January 25th. We're gonna have some Nostos guys. We might have a pro debut or something coming out of Nostos. So we'll see what's up. Man, I don't know. I can't spoil all my secrets, my man. Can't spill all my tea, but you know, obviously be up at NEF, but make sure you tune into our social media on November 9th because we got some big announcements pertaining to our January 25th fight card. So you know, make sure you're still tapping into the socials.
I'll be on the stream while I'm there. I'll be watching both.
Nice. Hey, so I like it that you're 15 because, you know, you're going to tie into my younger audience. I've been around since MySpace days, which you're probably like, what the hell's that? Facebook. Then we went to Snapchat and Instagram and Twitter. In your age group, what is like the number one social media you and your friends are using? Is it Instagram? Is it Twitter, X? Is it TikTok? What is the number one social media?
So usually like Instagram, TikTok, those are up there just for like the video things. But you know, like to text people, we're using Snapchat mostly. That's like the top 3 up there for all of it. TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat. That's what me and my buddies always use to talk to each other.
All right. I'm gonna have to bring Snapchat. We used to do Snapchat takeovers where we would give the fighters our Snapchat for the day. And they would just kind of go through a day in their life. We used to do Instagram takeovers. And then I kind of thought Snapchat fell off. But if you're telling me, maybe we'll have to dust it off. Why don't you go give me an ad at Cage Titans over on Snapchat, and you can be the reason why we revitalize it.
I got you. That'd be sick to have those fighters on there. That'd be actually pretty cool. I didn't know you guys did that.
Yeah, we did that way back in the day. Now that Snapchat's back, we got this generation that doesn't even know about the Snapchat takeovers. I remember the Snapchat.
Takeovers. It was funny because, you know, it was very interesting. And I have a 16-year-old son. My oldest is 21 and my youngest is 5. But my 16-year-old son, our Snapchat, it was pretty rowdy, and the fans loved it. So you know what? You might have inspired me when you see us doing the Snapchat takeovers again and starting to promote more on Snapchat. I'm going to remember this conversation, so I'm glad we had it.
That's sick.
Nice. All right, my man. Well, hey, I appreciate you once again for calling in tonight. I did get your email about trying to set up a now it makes sense because you said I'm only available after 2:30.
yeah, I got
you. Now I know why, but I'll shoot you back an email later on when I get off air, and we can set up an interview for this week.
All right, I got you. Thank you for having me on, dude.
All right, Maddox, have a great one. Thanks so much.
You too.
All right, there we go, young Maddox. It was cool. And if anybody wants to call in, we do have the StreamYard in the comment section. You know, I'd just love to hear from people that want to talk about the fight card. You know, either talk about the fight card, talk about their favorite fighter that they're looking forward to see on the card, just so it's not us rambling all the time. But in the meantime, going back to 2024, you know, we're not at the end of the year show, but it's just kind of like that. It kind of
we got work to do, but there's a lot of reminiscing still.
We're 80% of the way we started the year off as you. I'm sorry to cut you off, but like as you saying it, it's just like this is how this year has been. It's like we kicked off the year with Mitch Raposo winning our flyweight title and then going on to the UFC. It's like that was how we started the year.
Exactly. That was
like-
that was the bread roll, and then the appetizer was I don't even remember like. It,
then we went to Piersma 3 shows in a row, made his Cage Titans debut, and then end up headlining 2 cards, and then going on to the road to the UFC. Like it was pretty wild. Remember we had Everett DeSalle headline versus Piersma in the March show. And that was Presley and Cupcakes, which was a great fight. Chris Makate and Jay Perrin. Brody McDougal's pro debut, which was a big one. So, yeah, man, it's been good. And then our Cage Titans 65, Congdon versus Piersma.
Yeah.
Big fight. Joe Giannetti recapturing his title against
double
Bone.
belt, 2 belts.
Yeah. Valdina. Man, some good
Man,
fights.
we had some great. Oh, man.
End of the year awards are going to be pretty difficult. I will tell you that much.
Yeah.
End of the year is going to be
We're
tough.
gonna- it's more votes to add into the election year, I guess. We're gonna have a lot of Italian to do because we got a lot to do. And a lot of great finishes and tremendous fights that are all-time classics happening in 2024. That's why I have to echo what I said earlier. It's hard pressed to find a year that we really made these kind of strides just all across the board, and then performance-wise as well. I feel like the fighters really delivered on a different level all across the board.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's and it is crazy to think, we still got a whole fight card that is pretty stacked next weekend. So like, imagine what else we're going to be talking about the week after that, when we kind of not only reminisce on that Cage Titans 68 card, we're reminisce on the entire year. And just to like, also kind of like, as I say that, like, these are just milestone years. Like before, back in the day, it used to be like, all right, cool, we're going to make a fight card. We'd have our dates, but it was like, all right, we'd take a few weeks off after a show, and then we'd start matching. This year has also been a monumental year where we're like strategizing fight cards and strategizing where we're going to put guys, and you hear about that talk with the UFC. It's like, oh, Conor McGregor wants to come back. And it's like, well, the UFC already has their next 3 pay-per-views kind of earmarked for who's going to be fighting on those. Sorry, Conor, like, we don't have a card for you. And I'm not saying that's where we're at, but like right now, people are asking, I see Aaron Hughes, but like in the comments, like, I'm already matching January. January, we already have 6 or 7 pro fights already matched. Andy doesn't even actually.
I know
Andy came late. That's why I had to eat while we're on air. But I got a couple that he doesn't even know about that I made this past weekend. That he's going to find out. One's going to be a headliner, and the other will be the co-headliner. So yeah, we got some fights that we are actually, like, we're already planning the next event when this event hasn't even happened yet. So like that's another thing that's a lot different from us.
And that has happened show after show this year.
Yeah,
And
it's like, all right, we already know 2 or 3.
It wasn't a goal. It wasn't a priority, but it was something that's been talked about for years. And this is the first year where show after show.
Yeah.
It naturally happened. So I don't see that slowing down.
Perfect. Well, I gotta make another fight while I'm sitting here on air, but I can't tell you that.
For January?
No, I gotta keep it secret. Anyways, so that's another thing that's been big this year is like, scheduling and planning ahead, like kind of, cards in advance. Like, okay, like this is how we're not even out in November, and we haven't even had the event next week, and we pretty much have the entire pro card matched for January. And like I was telling Maddox, like, tune in on November 9th because we got some big announcements for you guys on November 9th for January 25th to already get you to look forward to. Tease the names. Valdina was one of the names. Greg Jones defending his OG belt.
Oh, shit.
Miguel Sebastian and Jack Congdon will be back. Hillary Rose will be back. So we got some
All right.
things that we're going to be working on for that card.
Like you said, it sounds like it's already pretty filled up.
Yeah, so it's things are going well. So either way, that's kind of as I reminisce on 2024 and the kind of question that was kind of where I was at. It's like we're kind of separating the way we do business now. What I would love to separate a little bit better is our setup. I always still feel like we're running around like chickens with our head cut off the last week of fights. If you agree with me, that's how I feel.
What do you mean? Just like
Somebody's calling in, but they don't want to show their face. I don't know if they want to surprise us, but maybe. Let's bring him in. It says John Deadman. We'll see who it is. What's up, Deadman?
Whoa, Deadman.
What's up, Deadman?
No, mate, I just want to know when some action's going to happen. I'm waiting for a live fight.
You like the fight?
Yeah, a good fight. Could
Where
do
are
a
you
bit
from?
more claret, though.
Nice. Where are you calling us from?
London.
London, England. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Did you get to watch that? Was the UFC over in England? No.
No, they were in Abu Dhabi.
Who's the biggest fight fan you like? Who's your favorite fighter?
Who's your best fighter, man? McGregor.
McGregor, yeah.
She loves
McGregor?
him. Yeah.
Nice. All right, going to soccer. What's your favorite soccer team? I've been to England once. I got to see Everton Stadium. Who's your favorite soccer club?
No, I'm around Millwall way.
Oh, okay, nice. So, how did you fall into Cage Titans and find us?
I used to go cage fighting when I was a teenager out down when it was not as legal as it is.
Up on it. He froze up on us. I don't know. He's calling us from Newcastle United. That might be what he said, but he froze. I couldn't see him. But thank you to John Deadman who called in from London, England. That was pretty cool.
You never know what's going to happen when you just throw a link out on
Throw
the
the
internet.
link out. Yeah,
I like it. I
he
mean,
froze. I couldn't really hear or see what he said, but hey, listen. At first, I thought it was a joke because the way the camera was, we can see him in our preview screen down here, and you only can see his forehead. So it was like, is he not like wanting to? I thought it was going to be like, I was very nervous. I was thinking it was Zach Cyril for a second. And
That's exactly what
then I thought that Deadman was like a play on Halloween. So I'm like, shit, who's this guy calling in? But hey, man,
you really took a risk right there.
I did
because
take
you
a
were-
risk.
You
I
were,
did take a
you, were,
risk.
you were very hesitant because he still didn't have his face shown in the little
preview
drop
screen.
screen. And you were like, oh, here you are.
I had my hand on the button.
And
Just had to quickly.
I'm sitting there. I'm like, what are you doing? We have no idea who, but he seemed like a nice
Thank
gentleman.
you calling in from
Yeah.
London.
No, that was that was
That was scary for a
certainly-
second.
Yeah, but for a split second, I had no idea who it was. Could have been anybody, but he seemed like a very nice gentleman who was just into the fights and
There you
like
go.
McGregor and
Yeah, Newcastle
And-
United. That's Don Shamus's favorite. Oh man. So, anyways, before we had John Deadman call in, what were we talking about now? I'm thrown off by you, Mr. Deadman, over in England. I appreciate you calling in, though.
what were we
What
talking?
were we talking about?
I don't know.
Or we're talking about just kind of like planning out the years.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, I was saying what I wish we could do is get
There
better
you
with
go.
our setup because no matter what, it's like if you're ever in our building at 10 minutes to 4, like you're like it looks like we've never ran a show before. We're running around like
I
animals.
feel like sometimes we're in better shape than others, but yeah, I mean, it's just
It's the nature of the beast. Like
it
you,
just
it's
is.
this, and we've
Just
talked about
is.
it all the time. It's like, what can we do right now? It's like some things we just can't do until the day of the fight. Like
Yep.
it is what it is.
Yep.
But anyways-
it's a shit. So grab an umbrella and a raincoat and saddle up. Let's go.
Hey, but if you ever one of us, maybe we'll get John Deadman to fly over from England. We always could use hands on fight day. We're there from 8:00 in the morning. People ask me all the time, Mike, if you ever need any help, blah blah blah.
Oh, we could.
Here's the deal. This is my public service announcement. We always need help. And here's the deal. I probably will never respond to text messages on fight day because we're there from Thursday all the way to Saturday night. We are there on Saturday morning at the venue, setting up the cage and the lighting rig from 8:30 in the morning until showtime. So save the text message to me to see if I might respond and say, yes, we need your help. Here's my response. Yes, we could always use help. Just show up and there's always something to
We'll
do.
be able to point you.
Whether it's carrying parts of the cage, put together the lighting rig, helping run cabling, setting up the locker rooms,
Throwing-
pipe and drape, chairs.
throwing gloves.
Yeah, like it's literally always something going on. So just save yourself the text message to see, oh, I would have came by. I didn't know if you need help. We always need help. So come on by. Anyways-
always greatly appreciated. Too.
Always greatly appreciate it. We got Short Fuse, Aaron
Oh
Hughes.
shit!
What's up, my man?
What's up, guys? How you guys doing?
Doing great, Short Fuse Hughes. What's going on, Aaron?
Not much. Just got done holding pads for the boys who are fighting. on Saturday, so pretty excited. You know, it's gonna be sick for them. I'm excited.
All right. How they looking? How your hands feeling after padding up Jorgen?
I actually didn't get Jorgen today, but I did get Carter and Jake. And let me tell you, Carter for a bantamweight, he fucking hits hard, man. Like my shoulders and my wrists hurt. But yeah,
What you have to take from him?
yeah. Every Thursday in sparring, he's always ripping my body. But yeah, it's gonna be sick, man. You know, I'm super excited for the show next week.
Yeah, man, you got Regiment coming out in droves, you know, with Jorgen kind of leading the charge. You got Jake, you got Carter. Unfortunately, we weren't able to square you up, but, you know, you're going to be coming back in January, so we'll get that locked in. Maybe we'll have an announcement for November 9th. But focusing on, you know, Cage Titans 68 November 9th, you know, you helped a little bit match these fights. You know, what should we look forward to in these matchups? Jake Aruda and Carter Whitty's fight.
So the Carter Whitty fight, honestly, the reason that I like set it up, well, for one, obviously Dalton English, he trains with Jay Kicks and Bow, and we like had some beef like before in the past, but the freaking viral sidekick KO thing that he had like what was it, like 3 shows ago or something, it was sick. And I texted Carter. I'm like, yo, like, what do you think about this fight? He's like, I was just going to ask for that fight. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to text Mike right now and set it up. And so I'm super excited for that fight. That one's going to be a banger, man. You know, like start to finish banger. I don't see that one going the distance. And with Jake Aruda, man, like I've been training with him like since I first started training, like 2013. He was like on and off. Like he would show up consistently and then he would like disappear. And yeah, he came back to Regiment like 2 years ago. He's like, dude, I want to fight. It's always been on my bucket list. So can you guys help get me ready? So I'm like, hell yeah, man, let's do it. So I'm super excited to watch him make his debut. And then obviously Jorgen in the main event. That's going to be crazy. I'm like, I don't understand how Jorgen is just like, fight. Like, bro, you're a heavyweight. Take some time, dude. You know, he's got like 5 fights this year already. It's crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy, man. It's gonna be. He's been on a tear. He really is the Mad Titan, just looking to collect Infinity Stones or local belts. I do gotta say, Jake Aruda, I did shave my beard this week, but I was making his matchup there.
Oh, you froze.
He's kind of a stunt double for me.
Yeah, it's actually so funny. I actually tried betting him to shave his beard. He's like, I'm never gonna accept a bet that I won't honor because I'm not shaving it. I'm like, all right, like I respect that. But
Nice. So I see. How's everything else going in Short Fuse's life? I saw you got in a car. What, somebody ripped your door off your car the other day?
What?
Dude, 2024 has just been fucking awful, dude. It's been awful. But yeah, I was like kind of in a rush when I got home from work, and I just like opened my door like without looking, and yeah, as I opened it, I just got smacked. Like, lady just took my door off. So I've been without a car for the last couple of days, relying on Carter Whitty to bring me to the gym, but I'm hoping to have it back by Wednesday. So,
well, man,
yeah.
You know, so obviously you got the Regiment boys fighting on November 9th. Give me one other fight that you got circled that you're looking forward to on this upcoming card.
Dude, I mean, come on. You can't miss a Chris Mutino fight. You can never, ever miss a Chris Mutino fight. Chris and I have been training together for a long time, and it's just like he trains the way he fights, just nonstop forward pressure. It's awful all the time. It's terrible. Like, I don't think I've ever been so tired than I have training with Chris. I think that's going to be the most exciting fight on the card, honestly. It's going to be sick. Love cupcakes, but gotta rock with Chris on this one.
Well, give me your Mystic Fuse. Light it for me. Who's pulling it out and how?
All right. I'm gonna go Chris, second round finish. I'm gonna say TKO.
Nice. And then let me pick your brain on an amateur fight. Give me an amateur fight that's besides your two guys. There's 10 amateur fights, 8 of them not involving your teammates. So give me one other fight on the amateur portion that you're looking forward to.
The only one that I can really. Oh well. All right. Can I give you 2 of them actually? Because I just thought of another one. The first one is the title fight between Fred and Kasky. Man, like I trained with Fred at the cartel. It's unreal how strong that guy is. Like for a featherweight, it's crazy. That's gonna be a sick fight. But the fight that I'm really looking forward to is the Eater Gomes fight. I actually trained with him at Lausanne last week, and I was like very impressed at how good he is for only having 2 fights. He's only been training for like a year or 2. I was like super impressed. Super skilled, great striker. So I'm definitely looking forward to his fight too.
Good, great, some great picks.
I think you guys froze up on me, but
We're froze. Hold on. Before you leave, I got to give you some shit because you hurt one of our amateurs. I'm not going to say their name, but one of our amateur fights had to pull out because you busted his eardrum, motherfucker.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's news to me.
I'm not going to say who. I'll message you off air, but somebody unfortunately heard he got popped in the air by you sparring at Lausanne's, and he had to pull out because you popped his eardrum and it got infected or some shit.
Oh, that's awful. Well,
Yeah.
My apologies to him and you, but hey, shit happens.
Yeah, it's all good. So 2025 is the year of the Fuse. We look forward to seeing you, and hopefully we'll be in touch. Maybe if we can lock something in before next week, we can announce something in the cage. If not, I do have you earmarked for that card, so we'll be seeing.
You already know that I messaged you with a potential matchup, but I know you're busy, so let's wait and see how that guy's fight plays out first. But yeah.
All right, I'll check my messages when I get off the air, or just actually resend it to me so it's at the top of my box.
All right, I will.
All right, brother, have a good one.
Thanks, Short Fuse. Take it easy, Aaron Hughes.
There you go. See, it's so funny. So, like, see how we were just on Wi-Fi and shitty connection. If you look here, the minute he gets off, this is something I've been trying to figure out. Right? Like we've been talking about every week, how to figure it out. Oh man, look at this guy. This guy, all right. I'm gonna preface this with, we haven't announced his fight, and oddly enough, when you just asked me what I was doing, we just added this guy to the card. I literally got the text message at 8:34, and then he called in. So I haven't even told your opponent that you're in. So we're gonna bring him on, and we're gonna not talk about who it is. As long as we got that deal, Henry, we're good. So we got a guy who literally 20 minutes ago accepted a fight and will be making his Cage Titans debut in his amateur debut. He's taking a fight on less than 2 weeks' notice for his very first fight.
Replacing the guy
that Aaron Hughes busted his eardrum. But we're not going to say who it is because they don't even know yet. So anyways, Henry, what's up, my man?
Not much. How are you guys?
Dude, we're doing all right. I just got the text about, like I said, 8:34 that you're in. We're not going to talk about who, but introduce yourself. Introduce yourself to the world. You train with Carrick Jennis. You go over at UMass Amherst. Introduce yourself and let us know how you got into this MMA world.
Yeah. So I'm Henry Howe. I got into MMA almost 3 years ago with another buddy of mine down in Amherst, and we've just been training ever since. A lot of jiu-jitsu, a lot of stand-up, and 24 years old, ready to make my debut.
Nice, man. I gotta give you credit, man. I did get your name at the beginning of the matching process, and you and your roommate, it looked like we weren't going to be able to get a match. How was it in the last few weeks, kind of seeming like you weren't going to get a fight, but still getting motivation to go to the gym and train?
It's still been the same energy because we have another guy on the card. So, it's basically just been the same exact energy. Just go in there, train hard, and get him ready for his fight, and basically stay prepared in case something like this came up also.
Awesome, man.
Sweet.
His teammate's Iger Zaltzman.
right.
So Iger's fighting on this card as well. So now we got 2 guys from Carrick Jennis School out in Western Mass. And I'm excited. That's, I got to say, it's a tough thing to do, especially not having a fight on the books, but then keeping that motivation. I'll be honest, I was kind of surprised. I kind of like threw it out there and wasn't sure if it was you guys it was going to make a hit, but I was very pleasantly surprised when I got the text message 20 minutes ago that you're in. So, you know, what's your background, you know, beyond the sport? Like kind of, you know, you mentioned you kind of got into it with a friend. Did you have another sporting background? Like were you a hockey player, football player?
Yeah.
Got into it.
Yeah, I played a lot of lacrosse in high school, so that was definitely my main sport. I also did play hockey for a year, but lacrosse was definitely my thing. So, yeah, definitely don't have a lot of combat sports background before starting training all this, but now I'd say been having a fairly well-rounded training regimen, so feel very ready.
Cool.
So you're out at ZooMass and you're training out there. Do you get rounds in Natick as well at Alpha Nerds?
No, not at Alpha Nerds. I actually don't go to UMass right now. I do just live locally and work locally, but I do go out and train in Mattapoisett with some of your guys on the weekend lately, these past few months also.
All right. So,
so you're not UMass Amherst. You just live near UMass Amherst.
Yes, yeah. I just train right by UMass Amherst.
Oh, okay. And then
gotcha.
Mattapoisett, who are you training with down there? Is that the basement guys?
Yeah. Connor Matthews.
All right, sweet.
So fair to say that though you're making your debut on under 2 weeks' notice, and it's your first time stepping the cage, you're more than prepared for this moment, especially if you're making the trek to Mattapoisett and training with the basement guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
Have you been to a Cage Titans before?
I've not. It's gonna be my first time.
Well, man, I hope you get ready. It's gonna be it's definitely an experience like no other. You know, Andy, you got anything else to follow up with?
No, man, I'm always excited to watch amateurs making their debuts, especially if one's stepping up on short notice. I love it. It just shows heart, balls. I love it. It's awesome. It's always a once in a lifetime experience getting in there and making that debut. And it sounds like you're stoked for it. And anybody that's willing to drive the whole way across the state just to get some rounds in to train, I'm stoked for that, for that debut fight. So, you know, unfortunate Aaron Hughes had to bust an eardrum for this to happen, but
we got Henry out of the deal. So I think we're good. Hey, so Henry, before we let you go, first off, I appreciate it. And get me a picture so I can make a new poster for your fight, and we can get that announced this week and start promoting it. But before we let you go, any last minute shout outs, your gym teammates, things like that?
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. Shout out, absolutely Carrick, of course, but my boy Evan Hughes, always with me, always pushing me super hard. He was the other guy that was hoping to fight with me on this card, but it didn't work out. So you guys will be seeing him in the future. So shout out to him, as well as my boy Miguel. He's been helping out a lot with everything. So yeah, thank you.
All right, man. Henry, appreciate it. And I know you already got all your medicals and everything done, man. You're a godsend. Usually it's not this easy with people saying yes and getting all their stuff done. So appreciate everything you do. And I can't wait to see you inside the cage next Saturday, November 9th. And I'll meet you at weigh-ins on Friday.
All right. Sounds good. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Have a good one, my man. All right.
Take it easy, Henry. All right, man. That's talk about stepping up on short notice. It's
the guy calls right into the table science.
Yeah, no kidding. Within minutes of the fight actually being confirmed. Right here. So
8:34. I got the text message. I threw out the offer at 3:00 today. And I will say that the guy he's going to be fighting has more experience. And so it was like, your guy's a debut. You know, he's given up a few fights to this guy. Not sure it makes sense, but here it is. Because there's some ways to look at it. And I do go through this a lot with making fights. Like, you got a debut. You could be the next Conor McGregor. You don't know when you get a debut. You have no clue. We talk about it. Like, you never know what you're going to get. So it's like, you're making a debut. Do you really want to fight a debut? Because you know who you're fighting. That's kind of a negative about it. Positive, you're getting a guy doing it for the first time. If you fight an 0-0 and you're an 0-0. So you're kind of going through the same emotions at the same time. Now, in his situation, he's fighting a guy with multiple fights. So the negative there is I'm giving up a ton of experience. But the positive there is there's a ton of video to watch on your opponent. So, him and his team, I was kind of like, I don't know if this will make sense, but I threw it at him. And here we are a couple hours later, and he's all in, and he's calling it the Table Titans. The medicals are already sent over. Easy to say that Henry's ready to go, and somebody that's stoked and that's and so prepared.
Making our job easy.
Making the job easy, because I will say, I was this amateur fight that fell out. I had to rip Aaron a little bit because I was kind of pissed. I'm like, fuck, man, he busted this dude's eardrum, and it was a fight that
You had to make it.
I had to make it. So more details will come out on this, next day.
Tune in next week and probably have more details.
This guy's so much shit, talks so much shit, and he doesn't back up nothing. This guy's a bum. I don't know who he's talking about. Tina Soflo. I don't know. She can't be this comment was from 10 minutes ago. She must have been talking about Aaron Hughes. Come on, Aaron Hughes is a good dude. And listen, whether he talks shit or not, the best thing about it when you do talk shit, you're putting yourself out there. And and it takes a lot of, you're putting yourself out there. And that if you don't win, you're gonna get that slack like these comments. But he can take. That's one thing about Aaron. It doesn't deter him. He might lose a fight and he's still coming back and he's still posting the next day. I'm fucking taking someone's head off next fight. And he comes out and does it. And then, it's hard. Like,
it's definitely an element of the game for sure.
You entertain it, and you got to sell a fight. Like you got to talk up a fight, and some guys have certain ways to motivate themselves. Some guys like to talk that trash to kind of like give them the kick in the ass, and some guys like to be stoic and not say a word, and that's how they do it. I don't knock anybody's approach because everybody's differently, and everybody has, you say, not to go off on a tangent on Aaron, but it's like if he didn't talk shit, like, would you be that interested in his fights? And, it's like, if he didn't talk shit, he still could have won or lost that fight. So it doesn't really matter. Like, he's for me, he makes my job easy. He sells fights and he makes people invested in him.
We're knuckles that are lightly gloved, bare shins, elbows, knees, and feet are served to concuss another human being, lacerate, strangle, and manipulate to breakage. And words bother you. I don't get it. I don't know. It never really strikes my head.
Most of the guys at the weigh-ins that want to start getting handsy, it's like, guys,
you get to legally assault each other within the confines of the law in less than 24 hours. Could you just hold off a little bit?
I will say about this shit
the reason the government is involved in the sport of which we choose to participate is because it is illegal to beat the shit out of someone with your bare hands. So we have to make variances within the law to approve them. So just wait and then do it in the cage.
Yes, exactly. I do like the Chael Sonnen approach, though. It's like, if you're going to talk your shit, then talk your shit and stick with it. Like, Chael used to say that. He's like, I'm not talking shit and saying shit to some of my opponent and then going to fucking hug him after the fight. Even if I lose. If I say fuck you and I don't like you and I talk that shit before, he goes, one thing he says about Chael that he says about himself, he goes, afterwards, you're not seeing me hugging it out with the guy. He's like, even if I get my ass kicked, I stand by what I say. And that's something about Aaron that I do appreciate. He's a hugger out afterwards, but he just.
So did Chael, too, because Anderson whooped his ass and then he got invited to a barbecue. I remember that.
That was many years later. Many years later. But either way, anywho, we had a great hour show. We had some great call-ins. Thank you to Maddox. It's still a show, though. Yes, Willie. Absolutely. I mean, and again, Tito Ortiz said it best, and going back many years, it's just like you want to invoke an emotion, whether they hate you or they love you. You don't want them to just be like, "Oh, cool, this fight's on the card," and not have any feelings. It's kind of the old WWE model and the wrestling model, and it's like you want them to boo you or you want them to cheer you. You want them to be there to see you get your ass kicked, or they're there because they want to see you kick someone's ass. Like either way, you want them to be invested.
And there's no different. There's no.
And he does invoke a lot of emotion, Aaron.
Yeah, of course. I mean, that's one way to do it. And the other way is Chama.
Yeah.
Botan. He doesn't speak a lick of English. Everyone's tuning in to watch him fight just because he lets his hands do the talking. So
Yeah.
there's so many different
Different
aspects to it.
avenues
There's
and paths.
definitely different avenues, but that's why we love the sport. And the blood gods are thirsty. And on November 9th, we're gonna serve them.
Serve them up. Well, we had some great call in Maddox from New England MMA News. We had Short Fuse Hughes, and then only on the card for 20 minutes, and he's already did his first Table Titans interview.
We even talked to a chap from London.
We haven't even got to talk to a guy from London.
Very risky click.
I will say, I
was half
I
anticipating.
could only see this, and it was like wrinkly, and I was like, man, I'm like, this could be a ball sack, or it could be a mask.
Yeah, I know.
It could be a mask.
Why
a ball
do you
sack.
think
I'm like,
that? There could be.
but I said it was an
naked-
open to format show. Anybody wants to call in, we're going to call him in. I can't back down on
Oh
that.
my god!
I had the trigger finger ready. If it was something bad, I
Yeah,
could
it very well
I
could have
could've
been. That was
exit him out real quick.
But he had his wife knitting in the background. It was very. It
Yeah,
seemed
that
like it was a fireplace. I thought it was. They were just called from England, and he wanted to talk about it. He'd been fighting since he was a teenager, even though he might have fought in the Revolutionary War.
I don't know, Andy. We had a good show tonight. I always enjoy just doing something
Yeah,
different.
We're just talking shit right here, and we got the whole hot wing hot take and confirmed.
Did you confirm Miguel? Are they coming?
Yep, they're gonna be here.
They're
Miguel and
next
Jack
week in studio. We'll get them
in
on the wall.
studio. We'll get them on the wall. They're gonna eat some wings because they ain't fighting in 2 weeks.
We got Miguel for the mother effing minute.
And he'll be in for the mother effing minute. Cupcakes will be fighting. So we had that spot in the broadcast booth.
Valdina, why don't you call in, my man? We'll give you a little airtime, Valdina. If you want to call in, there you go. Open format show. I see you watching.
Yeah, we got Jay Perrin and Hillary Rose in the booth. Miguel doing the mother effing minute. And Miguel and Jack being in studio. We've already talked. All three of us talked about getting them in the commentary booth in 2025 as a team.
Yeah.
In tandem, which
I don't know. I know it won't be January 25th because
I know because they're both fighting, but like I said, in 2025, obviously they're both fighting January 25th. So, but yeah, that's kind of like this. That's where we're at. We're gearing up. I'm fucking stoked.
I think we're gearing up for a Valdina announcement. That's why I was trying to see if he wanted to call in, but we'll wait till next week. He'll be part of some intermission hijinks.
All right, there we go. We got that brewing up. I mean, it's if we have time for an intermission. We got so many fights to get through.
We'll make time for this one.
All right,
we'll make time for this.
All right, I already know what it is. I smell it. I can smell it.
Yeah, we got something good going on.
I know what it is already. You didn't tell me, but I know.
Oh, you don't know the other one though. But anywho, that's until next week. We got to keep.
What's the other you mentioned?
Nope, I'm not telling you anything now. Anyways, maybe we'll get Jack's fights and Miguel's, and they can do the hot wing hot take, and we can announce their fights next week on the show.
All right, that sounds
like
something
like that.
A decent little plan right there.
Yeah, I already got. We already got. I got a fight that I'm targeting for Jack. So yeah, we'll see. Can you smell? Can you smell what we're cooking? I don't know, Willie. Willie, you should call in one night. Maybe next week when we do the fight week breakdown. So there you have it.
Here's what Willie thinks.
Oh yeah, he can't tonight, but he looked hell of a cod, man. All right, Valdino.
What Willie thinks is always chatting. Is that who is what Willie thinks?
Willie. His name's Willie. You wouldn't know him. He actually, if it's the Willie, I'm 99.9%. He used to train at South Shore Sport Fighting. He's like he did boxing mostly. Him and I used to train together a lot when I was training a lot and actually fought. He helped me out tremendously. He might actually give me my first pair of boxing gloves, maybe. I don't remember. Might have meant to let me borrow them. That I just ended up keeping. I don't know.
And now he tunes in every Monday or Tuesday.
Yeah, if it's who it is, he's friends with Mike Matalonis. Nope, not me. All right, that's not him then. I don't know what Willie thinks is then. I thought it was this dude Willie that I used to train with at South Shore Sport Fighting back in like 08, 09. And he was a great training. He's friends with me on Facebook. That's why I thought it was him. But I don't know what Willie thinks is then. Not him. Well, Willie, we'll have to unveil you maybe one show and have you call in. But either way, that's it. That's all the show. 59 minutes, 45 seconds. We said we're going to do an hour tonight. Next week, we're back here in studio on Monday. It is Fight Week Breakdown. All things Cage Titan 68. We got Jack Congdon and Miguel Vesson in studio with myself and Andy.
We're going to go through some chicken wings. We're going to go
Every
through
fight.
every single fight. We're not going to give picks. We're official. They'll give picks.
And you know what? This is open to anybody. We had Rob Pico come in and do a breakdown.
Yeah.
Hey,
Big
we
Mike
got
Silva
Domenico,
might be down
Mikey.
here. Anybody wants to come in, eat some chicken,
Next
and make
week.
some picks. We
got a big round table.
I can't wait to talk about every single fight and talk about why it's a great fight. I can never pick who I think is going to win. I don't ever do that. It's in 10 years, I've never made a pick on who I think is going to win. So that's why we need guests to do that, to make it interesting, because it's I just tell the story as it is, and that's that.
All right, guys. Well, thank you for tuning in tonight. I hope you enjoyed the show. Back on our regular Mondays. We'll be here next week, and if you're into it, come on down and join us next week for the Fight Week preview show. If not, tune in.
Always appreciate y'all. Cheers, everybody. We'll talk to you next week.
Cheers.
Plymouth, Massachusetts. Let's go!
Red hot American night. Shake your body dry on the coastline. Red hot American night. We snuck our forks to the shore and drank a bone dry. We snuck our forks to the shore and drank a bone.